The expectations were never supposed to be small. Not for Argentina, not at a World Cup, not when millions of people arrive expecting more than victories, expecting statements, expecting dominance, expecting proof that a team belongs among the tournament favorites. But World Cups have a habit of making expectations dangerous, because every favorite enters believing they will control the story. And every tournament eventually reminds someone that football doesn't always follow expectations. As Argentina prepared to face Algeria, the pressure was obvious. 3 points mattered. A winning start mattered. But something bigger was also at stake. Because what happened on this night wouldn't just affect the standings, it might change the way the entire tournament viewed Argentina. Long before the first whistle, this match already felt important. Not because of the standings, not because of mathematics, because of expectations. Argentina arrived carrying the weight that follows every major favorite. The pressure to win, the pressure to perform, the pressure to look like a team capable of lifting the trophy weeks later. Millions were watching. Every touch would be analyzed, every mistake would be discussed, and every moment would contribute to the growing conversation surrounding Argentina's World Cup campaign. Algeria, meanwhile, arrived with a very different perspective. The pressure wasn't on them. The expectations weren't on them. Most of the attention belonged to Argentina. And teams carrying less pressure can become dangerous. They play freely, they take risks, they embrace uncertainty, which is exactly why the opening minutes felt so important. Because for a few moments before kickoff, it genuinely felt like anything could happen. But the pressure was only beginning. But then the ball started rolling, and Argentina immediately sent a signal. A dangerous attack, a quick movement, a moment that forced Algeria into action. For a few seconds, the breakthrough looked inevitable, but it wasn't a goal, not yet. It was a warning. Argentina were finding space, Argentina were finding rhythm, and Algeria could already feel the pressure beginning to build. The crowd sensed it, the players sensed it, and every Argentine attack seemed to carry a little more danger than the one before. Yet Algeria continued fighting, they continued believing, and for a moment, the match still felt balanced. But that balance wasn't going to last forever, because the pressure was only beginning. And only minutes later, the warning became reality. Argentina moved forward once again. Another attack, another opening, another moment that forced Algeria to react. This time, the reaction wasn't enough. The ball crossed the line. The stadium erupted. The Argentine supporters found their voices. And just like that, the atmosphere changed. Argentina had the start they were hoping for, but the goal itself wasn't the most important part. It was what happened afterward, because Algeria suddenly found themselves chasing the game. The pressure increased, the task became harder, and the opening match of Argentina's World Cup began moving in a very different direction. At 1-0, Algeria still had time, plenty of time. One attack could change everything. One moment of quality could silence the growing confidence. But instead of reducing the pressure, Algeria found themselves facing even more of it, and Argentina could feel the momentum growing. Yet the biggest moments of the night were still waiting to arrive. At 1-0, Algeria still believed they could recover. At 1-0, one moment could still change everything. But the longer the match continued, the more difficult that task became. Argentina looked comfortable. Comfortable in possession, comfortable under pressure, comfortable on a stage where many teams begin to feel tension. Every passing minute seemed to increase their confidence. Every successful attack seemed to increase Algeria's frustration. And that frustration slowly started becoming visible. The passes became rushed. The decisions became harder. The spaces became larger. Argentina sensed it. They kept pushing forward. They kept forcing difficult choices, and eventually another opening appeared. Another attack, another dangerous moment, another finish. The lead doubled. The stadium erupted once again, and suddenly the atmosphere felt completely different. Algeria now faced a very different challenge. Not simply overcoming a deficit, overcoming momentum, overcoming belief, overcoming a team that was beginning to look exactly like the favorite everyone expected to see. Yet the story was far from over, because World Cups have a habit of creating strange moments. One goal can change everything. One mistake can change everything, and Algeria knew they still had time to find that moment. But the pressure was only growing, and the biggest moment of the night was still waiting to arrive. But the biggest moment of the night was still waiting to arrive. Because World Cups have a habit of revealing the truth when pressure reaches its highest point. And for Argentina, that moment was approaching. As the match continued, the intensity started changing. Every Argentine attack looked dangerous. Every transition carried purpose. Every minute seemed to increase the pressure on Algeria. Then came another breakthrough, another attack, another opening, another finish. 3-0. The stadium exploded. The players celebrated. The supporters celebrated. And somewhere inside that noise, the conversation surrounding Argentina began changing. People were no longer asking whether they could win. They were asking something much bigger. What exactly had the rest of the tournament just witnessed? Because this no longer felt like a team simply winning a football match. This felt like a team sending a message delivered under pressure, a message delivered on football's biggest stage. But World Cups rarely allow teams to feel comfortable for long, and the biggest questions were still waiting to be answered. As the final minutes disappeared, the result seemed clear. Argentina were in control. Algeria were running out of answers. But the scoreline only told part of the story, because this match had become about much more than 3 points. It had become about expectations. The expectations that follow every major favorite. The expectations that can sometimes become a burden. And on this night, Argentina handled them well. Very well. They looked composed. They looked confident. Most importantly, they looked comfortable. Comfortable on a stage where many talented teams begin to feel pressure. That matters, especially at a World Cup, especially in an opening match where first impressions can shape the conversation for weeks. But there is another side to this story, and that side belongs to Algeria. Because while Argentina celebrated, Algeria were left facing difficult questions. Not about effort, not about commitment, but about solutions. Because for long stretches of the match, they struggled to find answers. They struggled to slow the tempo. They struggled to stop the momentum, and every minute seemed to push the match further away from them. Yet World Cups are rarely defined by a single night. One defeat does not end a tournament, just as one victory does not guarantee success, which is exactly why this result feels so interesting. Argentina earned the start they wanted, but they also created something else, expectation, and every strong performance creates new pressure. Which raises an even bigger question. Did Argentina simply win their opening match, or did they just send the first major warning of Group J? But what do you think? Did Argentina prove they are ready to carry the weight of expectation? Or did they simply take advantage of an Algeria side still searching for answers? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy cinematic football stories like this one, be sure to subscribe to Final Whistle for more unforgettable moments from World Cup 2026. Because while Argentina celebrate and Algeria regroup, the tournament is already moving forward, and trust me, this story is only getting started.